welcome to NGL. It's another video, amplifiers today. Selmer 100 watt PA. This, I think this is around about early mid 70s, probably 73-4 I would have thought. The original logo on the front here has been rubbed off, and somebody's put this, put these letters and numerals there. The knobs aren't original either. They are like Marshall knobs. They do. We've got a pot snapped off, and this is a beast. It really is a beast. It's very heavy, and from what I can remember, this does run. I've had this for a couple of years now, not really done anything with it. So I'm trying to get through one or two things that I've got sat about doing nothing that I need to get sorted. So let's have a look at the back of it, so you can see the back, and it is a typical Selmer back. Because I must admit, at first when I saw that, I thought, I wonder if it actually is a Selmer, but it actually is. You can tell by the jack sockets and various things that Selmer use, these type of jack sockets with a grey insert in there, as you can see. Voltage selector on, sorry, oh no, that's impedance selector, sorry, on there. Impedance selector. Pretty basic really on the back. Mains lead, which don't look wonderful, does it? But so let's have the back off and have a nosy inside. So here we are with the back off. You can see we've got 4 EL84s in there. Sorry, EL34s. Yeah, 4 EL34s and a rather huge transformer you can see there. And also, I can just, you perhaps can't see there, but the voltage selectors on top. I think we'll have this out at chassis. There's not really much to see as while it's like this. There we are. That didn't take long to get out because the mounting screws were missing. So what have we got in here? 3 humongous transformers. You can see that's the main transformer there, and we've got, I'm presuming that's the output transformer, and that's a choke, which is massive, unbelievable. I've seen smaller output transformers than that for a choke. So this has got some. That is a beast, that output transformer. Just look at that. That is a beast. There is some writing on there on a label, but I can't see what it is on there. No, can't read that, but that is a beast. Check out these electrolytics. These are huge in size, and they are 100 microfarad at 450 volts working. So I'm guessing we've got quite a sizable HT voltage on this, and I would guessing these are wired series, so they halve down to they'll be halved down to 50 microfarad, which at 900 volts, I'm guessing. I've got 3 more electrolytics there that you can see, and we've got some tubes down here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another one hiding there. 6 tubes. There's a lot of valves in this unit. A lot of valves. Let's have one out and have a look. Mullard. Oh, that's also a good start. Mullard ECC83. I would reckon they're all ECC83s in here, I would guess. Let's just swap hands with the camera to pull that back in. I'm not very good at pulling them in with the left hand. There we go. Let's try this one. Mullard again, but that's a yellow print one. But don't matter. Get that back in there. See what this one is. We can barely get to this one. The size of that transformer. Yeah, another Mullard yellow one. there. Does make you wonder whether the yellow ones are the originals or not. A Brimer, Billy Brimer, ECC83. There. Trying to get these back in, and let's see what this one is. That is an EF86. Interesting. Didn't expect to find that in a PA. EF86. That is a pentode. And another Brimer there. That is an ECC83. So that's an interesting circuit. We should see if we can find a schematic for this. Excuse me while I'm putting this tube back in. So let's lift it up and have a look underneath. Holy Mother of Jesus. Look at that mess. So it looks to me like there's been some tacking on there, and that looks very nasty indeed. That soldering there does not look good at all. If we can get onto that for you to see. Where are we? There. Look at that. I might not be able to get any closer with this camera. So that does not look good. These look like they've been tacked on to me. It looks like that capacitor's blown in there because, or certainly because I can see all. So it looks very crusty, and I think somebody's added these on at some point. We've got Hunt's capacitor. That'll be shite. Most of these are. Let's have a look. Another one there. Another Hunt's here. One there. Classic ones. Always the camera in the right place. So interesting underneath. Don't seem as much in here as I thought there would be. Obviously all the tone network is going to be on the pots on the front panel, which we'll have to have a look at. It's got these mustard caps in, so these are good. Diodes mounted on the transformer. Is that original? Look at that. Oh, sorry. Look at that. That really can't be original, surely. Look at that. Obviously, I don't know. Oh, I don't reckon much to that. No, don't like to see that. They're just floating in the breeze. And they're just wired on with a very poor connection there. So that's not good. Something will have to be done with that. I think a proper tag strip's going to have to go in there. I mean, they've probably been like that for years, but there's a lot of voltage going through there, isn't there, for those to be wobbling around in such a state. So that, and just looking at that Hunt's capacitor again, that's very bulgy, and look at that bodge up there. Holy cowboy. So yeah, in a bit of a state this. In a bit of a state, and we've got these are the big four that we saw from the top on here, and you can see some very baked resistors going across them. They'll be balancing resistors. With them being wide in series, and they are wide in series, I can see they are. So they'll be balancing resistors, and they're obviously underrated because they're quite charred and burnt, especially that one. You can actually see there. I can just get focus on that one. That one's quite burnt. So this requires a lot of work and a lot of money spending on it actually to get this up and running, because there's a lot of capacitors in there. Now, I don't know whether these look in good condition, so I don't know how old they are, but they do look in good nick. But without testing them, is that, oh, what's this here? Huh. What is that? Good Lord. Well, that don't look very good, does it? The old dreaded electrical tape has made a guest appearance yet again. So that is something else that needs attending to. So the my main worries are that, and that's another concern. That lot's just going to get changed anyway, so that's not really an issue to tidy all that up. So yes, considerable amount of work is required. So the other hang on, what we got here? Right, so there's a screen resistor, which looks to me like, I don't know what that is, 470, that looks like 47 ohms to me. 47 ohms, is that on the screen? Pins, I don't know. White pin 6, and which is a new connection on it, and pins, that pin 2. Not quite sure what that's about, but anyway, let's look into that. I can't really see through this camera properly, but if you look here, look at this mess. That's already hanging off, look. You can see, oh, sorry, you probably can't see because my finger's in the way. If you look at that, see that? So that's not great, is it? Straight away. As well, and they've done the same thing there. What a botch up, look at that for a botch up. My days. Yep, the old rhinestone cowboy's been in here. There's no doubt of that. So there's quite a lot of stuff there that needs sorting out. Quite a lot of stuff. But I'm going to bring this up on the variac, if nothing more than for entertainment value. So what's that lonely pot? There's a lonely pot on it, all on its own there. There's all those pots on the front. When you tip it upside down and look inside, there's just one lonely pot. So obviously all the others are, and that must be the master volume, I'm guessing. Yes, indeed. Yes, it's interesting. So let's run this up and just see what happens. So we're on the tripod, and the first two things is one I've already done. Pink has vacated the premises because of course the voltage is being applied, so we don't like Pink being in the workshop when we're applying voltage. And secondly, I'm going to make sure that this amp has got a ground on it before I start messing about with it, and it does, so that's okay. So there is a ground there, so I'm going to plug that into the variac, not into there. While I'm doing that, start with the variac on 0. Right, so let's go up to 25 volts and let's just see if there's anything coming onto these. Oh, let's just see if there's any AC first, which is going to be there and there. They're expected these if we just hone in with this camera, if we're looking at these diodes again, there you just see those. I expected a bit better diodes set out for something this size. Just a couple of those, really, I would have thought's enough for this. I only have another one each in series with them, like they're doing the Marshalls and things. Very odd. I think we're going to look to upgrade that, but let's see if we've got any voltage, any AC coming in. And we've got 88 volts already at 25. My days. So I think I'm going to put some insulation gloves on with this, because it is, and I can hear you shouting wuss, but there's some voltage going through that. Don't know whether chassis will be live on it or whatever, just to be on the safe side. There's some serious voltage. Right, so you always have this temptation to hold the chassis there. Let's just get a bit better. Now we've had a look at those diodes. Let's go up again and see if we can hone in on that meter. There we go. So we're honing in on that meter there. You can see. Right, now we've got that done. I've got a speaker plugged into it. Let's give it 50 volts, madam. And see what we've got in DC now. 114 now, so we've virtually got double. So we're going to be seeing over 500 volts. Obviously the valves will draw that down as well. 55 volts on there. Let's go up to 100. There. Now we've got 218 volts there to 100. 219. I would imagine these are for the preamp section. Where's that going? It's going over here and to pin 4. Is that right? Sorry, pin 3. Yeah, we've got 217 volts there. Actually, that's the screen, not the is it? Yeah. Yeah, that's the screen plate. We've got 211 volts on that plate. We've got 81 on that mess, which it is an absolute mess. So have I got any valves lit up yet? Don't see anything. Let's go up to a bit more. So up to about 130 odd volts there now, and I don't see any heaters. But on the other hand, there is a lot of lights in here. Now I've got 269 on there, and I can hear a slight hum. I can hear something through the speaker now. $264. So let's take it up. That's about 180 now we're at. We've got 359 volts, so that's obviously drawing down now. Let's have a look at those valves. Still can't see any heaters, but we've got any signal. We'll just take this glove off and protrude. Don't seem to have any signal. So 367 volts to 100. So let's get up to full swage. 235 volts, 446. So now it's drawn down. We've not got so many volts on there. Still enough though, 400 odd volts. 115 on there, on that plate. So I'm not sure what's very noisy. That transformer is doing some vibrating. I can see the tubes lit now, the EL34s. Yes, we have got signal. That's mechanical, that hum. You. And we have sound. So it does run. It does run. So 430 volts coming off the HT. We're just about 133, yeah. So yeah, about 440 volts. Of course, we don't know what the bias is set at, and as long as it's not red plating, that's not usually relevant at the moment. The main thing is these capacitors. What a mess. But it all looks to be running okay. But there is some issues, some safety issues in this amp. As I said, one is that electric tape over that is an issue, and of course the floating diodes are just off the camera, but the floating diodes are also an issue. I don't like that at all. That is not healthy, is it? That Hunt's capacitor, he looks ready to let go. So I think that's enough of that. I don't like the look of that cap. Well, there we go. So we know it runs. The question is, what are we going to do with it? That's the question. What we're going to do? What are we going to do with this? Because really, does the world want another valved PA? So that's all off now. And I'm just going to check these caps are discharged. So what I thought I might do with this is, rather than it be a PA, is see if we can't convert this into a Marshall of some description. Let's just see what we've got on there. 1.6 volts. Yeah, so they've discharged themselves. There's no issues there. Get a nasty shock off of that. So yes, possibly convert this into a, well, certainly convert it into a guitar amp. It's just a question of which way we go with it. Probably a Marshall or something along those lines. Certainly with that sort of power, it makes sense to turn it into a Marshall. Look at this mains cable thing. What's the crack with that then? You can't see that because it's off camera. I'm just having a look. Ew. That's a strange item. Check that out. See if we can just hone in on that. I don't know whether we can hone in on that or not with the camera. There, can you see that? That is the cable retainer there. I've never seen one of those before. That's an odd beast. So no grommet on the chassis on the back here either. Don't like that. that will be changed as well, something more substantial. I'm going to go away, find a schematic, and then decide what we're going to do with this. Once we've recapped it and got it running, then we're going to mod it into a guitar amp. So doing a bit more assessing on this amp. Things I didn't quite take much notice of when we were just looking at the valves and things, but check out this lot. So this is the power lead coming in here, as you can see. It's hard to go in much closer because of this metal shield over these valves. That incidentally is a bit iffy, so that's going to be changed anyway. This is a main switch. Just look how open this is. Down there you can see the mains fuse and the HT fuse by the look of it on there. And the issue I have with this, you know, somebody opens this up, decide they're going to change some valves, so they inadvertently forget to unplug it, they put their hand in there, bang, straight off those. That is extremely dangerous. People will open amps up, you know, change tubes and things, but that lot there, that's, you know, 446 volts on that HT. That's a hell of a lot of voltage to be exposed like that. The strangest thing is, if we look it down here at these wires, if we can get me swap hands, you can see, well, you can see that there, but you see the wires coming through. They're coming through from the transformer there. So if we just check, let's just check what's underneath. So now I've got it lifted up, and those wires are coming in under there, and obviously these wires here, with that incidentally is the one that's been taped as well there. So why not, I don't understand why you take those through there. Why not just come through onto here? We've got all this space, and just put the fuses in there where they're out of harm's way and they're really safe. I don't understand why you'd leave that, but certainly wouldn't happen in today's world, would it? But that again is another example of just how dangerous this amp is. So what are we going to do with that? Yes, difficult one. I think I'm going to mount those two fuses on the back panel here. I think I'm going to move the main switch onto the back as well. I mean, I have mounted put a new main switch anyway, because that's just shite. We don't want that in here. So we'll have a new main switch in anyway. But really, unless, and I have done it before, we're using large pieces of heat shrink, unless we can cover the whole switch, and I have done that before, I'm not comfortable about having that switch on the front. The pilot light at the bottom is also 250 volts. You can see where that's fed in here. Probably just get in a bit closer if we can. We'll swap hands again. You can see that's fed down there. Now we're removing some tubes anyway, because we're not going to use all these preamp tubes. There's 4 preamp sections. I've checked it on the schematic, 4 preamp sections. So we're not going to use half of those valves, which means that we're going to be having some nice relief on the heater supply, which means we can quite easily put a pilot 6.3 volt pilot light in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a 6.3 pilot light in there, get rid of all this high voltage out of here, because that is just insane, all that being open. So that's what we're going to do with that. If we can't cover that switch completely, the new switch, if we can't cover it completely, then I'll just mount it on the back where it's safe, and that takes away that hazard. So I've got that plate off now, and interested, these are obviously the tone stacks, the channels, but look at the end one. The end one's got 3 CTS pots, and these have got different pots entirely, and that looks like factory to me. So did did they run out of whether we're using the CTS pots and then decided to use these, or vice versa. I don't know, but something strange going on there. But yes, interesting. So there's 4 sections of those, and we only want one. We don't really want the others, so we're going to be doing away with 3 of those channels. Can't see the point in having more than one channel and running those extra tubes. So we'll probably, so from what I've worked out tube wise, the one down there is the phase splitter. That's the F86, what these 4 run into. So we'll probably want 2 of these, just 2 of these, and then dispose of 2. And then we need to find out what these 3 electrolytics are doing here as well. So there we go. That's an analysis of this Selmer 100 watt PA. I also need to just put the tubes in the tester and make sure there's nothing dramatically wrong with those. Not that I only get a rough guide, but it's better than nothing. So there we have it, the Selmer 100 watt PA.